Hi all, welcome back to Road to 1K, the Advanced Wars by AWBW Global League series where I analyze my old matches to improve my Advanced Wars play, and hopefully yours. Today's match is this tier-free standard match on Caustic Finale, one of my favorite maps in standard actually. And it's on Caustic Finale against user Surfy Pekal. At the time it was around I'd say this match was had a rating of around 800, so a very entry level match, but hopefully it's a Kindle versus Kindle match. So I should be able to show off a couple of things about what you want to do when you're doing a Kindle versus Kindle match in standard. So let's just go ahead and jump into it a little bit. So here's the map preview. Caustic is a very nice little simple map. You got this area in the bottom left with comm towers, and then you have properties scattered throughout the city. You have these two missile silos, which are totally accessible. You should always try to access them. That's a joke, by the way. Very, very completely inaccessible. You can't touch them. So they're for decoration and such. But you got these areas in the corners here, which are easy to wall off with artillery. Got these areas in the center here, where it's a bit more property dense and open. And this map actually has no air units, so it's going to be mainly tanks, artillery in the corners, maybe some recons to pressure in other spots, because this is also a mixed base map. And what that means is you've got these two bases in the near the HQs up here. You got harbors in case you want to build a battleship or something. Maybe I can break like a stall or something. But you got these two and then these two down here. So it's a bit of a mixed base map, meaning recons are actually a little bit more viable on this map than otherwise would be, in order to help divert your opponent's resources. Because on this map, your units are going to be a bit more split. So basically where you place your resources in this map are going to be super important. An important area is down here with the comm towers. Depending on the level of play, you may or may not want to invest heavily in this area, or depending on the matchup. And then you've got the properties everywhere else. Usually, the impression I get is that usually it's going to come down to an income thing before it comes to the comm towers here, because both players are equidistant from the comm towers. But certain things like CL matchup differences may change that analysis a little bit, and if you're able to rush through here pretty quickly and take the other comm tower from them, you're going to be able to cut off at this area. Basically cut off their bases from being able to retake it. Of course, that's a bit of a gambit, because if you invest too heavily in this area, you're forgoing the rest of the map and all of the properties, so you'll start to feel it in the income a bit. But that's basically all I have for Caustic as an overview. One of my favorite maps in standard, by the way. Let's see, the capture limit on this map is 27, so fairly standard, although the 8 bases make it a bit easier maybe to reach capture limit. Usually I feel like well, the only games that I played have ended in resignations actually after I capture the second comm tower. But that's not necessarily what you want to do on this map. But for this map, this is tier 3, right? Yeah, tier 3. So for tier 3, you have your choice between any of these, but that's flag. Any of these or COs or below. So as far as viable ones, the most viable one is going to be Kindle. Drake is also okay for global damage, even though the map's a little bit small for that maybe. And he's always good. I think it's maybe a bit too open for Lash. And then Rachel's Rachel's always interesting, and then you have tier 4 maybe if you want. But usually it's better to just... But then you're definitely playing at a bit of a disadvantage if you pick tier 4 in this map because it's so balanced. But as you can see, there's a decent amount of data here. Drake's got a 51%, Andy's got a 51%. Where's Kindle? Kindle's gonna have the crazy, yeah, 62% win rate. So definitely, Kindle is definitely favored to win here. Freaking flack. It's for 16 games and a 60%. Anyways. Looks like player 1 has a bit of a slight advantage here, although it's not going to matter. Well, it might matter for this match, but usually I feel like it's not too relevant because I played on this map a good deal and I love this map. But anyways, let's go over Kindle for a second. So Kindle, she appeared in the last episode for a little bit. She was on an opponent last time, but thing about Kindle is she gets crazy amount of attack while on properties, which is HQ's basis, basically anything you can capture. I think in this map, let's see. No, actually, there aren't any used missile silos on this map. I think I went over this last time, but basically they act as uncapturable cities, but they aren't a property for the Kindle. And then her Urban Blight ability causes all enemy units to lose 3 health on urban terrain, and increases her. It doubles her property bonus. Even high society is almost never used, but it's for if you really want to break through. Although usually Urban Blight's a bit better. Like you're almost always going to be spamming Urban Blight when you're playing Kindle. High society can be used as a meme pick, potentially. So I guess let's just get started with the replay. Advance Wars, honestly, the replays have been a bit glitchy and annoying recently, so this might not be the most legible replay until that gets fixed, but you'll see. So basically, first couple turns, you basically want to go for the bases as soon as you can. Alright, it's glitching out. It's just freezing for no reason. So I might skip a couple turns here, but basically, opening moves, you're just going for the bases first. Oh my god, come on. Come on, guys, anyways. Basic capture game here. Go for properties. That is an interesting move. I would have gone for the city myself personally because of how expensive naval units are and how you're probably not going to get to use them much in this map, but it's a move. You can go for that. Well, I actually went for this city there. And I'm already going ahead and building a recon down here to start pressuring this area. So if you're going to go in on the comm towers early, you're going to want to build a recon. I'm not sure if you want to build it down here necessarily, but as you'll see, I'll be pressuring with it fairly effectively. So I'm just going for the cities that are basically in range. I'm going for this corner a little bit as well. But I'm basically moving my recon in as far as I can without being in range of a tank. So far spacing is pretty good here. He moves his tank in here, and that's good because that way I basically can't just do whatever I want here. So because I didn't have enough. That's the other thing is early recons can force, because of how standard funds works, the limited amount of funds you have in standard, well actually he's going north with that, so that's okay. But if I were him, I'm not sure I would have done that. Recons are good for pressuring in this area, and then more so in this area. I'd say they're maybe okay in the corners, but usually you want more artillery in the corners than recons. That, well, I don't know about that move. If I was going to do that move, I should have probably attacked... Actually, no, that's fine. It's maybe a little bit aggressive, but because I don't have anything backing up my recon yet. Yeah, I'd say that was a bit premature. And he's definitely going to be able to just move in and take out my... Or not. Let's take a look at the damage calc for that, because I'm pretty sure this is... Yeah, it's fairly likely to kill, actually. So that was actually a pretty bit... That was a bit of a gamble. Now, if I had attacked from down here, he might have just moved off of the city and moved in with my tank, which would have ensured that would have not killed. Well, it would have ensured that it killed the recon. But because we don't have our comm towers yet, this actually wasn't the worst plan. Although he's able to just finish it off with the infantry anyway, so I still think that was maybe a bit premature. But it's going to. The thing is, it's going to slow his capture game down a little bit, so that'll add up a bit. He's got his second tank in here. I got my first down here. So moving in with his infantry basically everywhere, going for captures. I'm just gonna go ahead and basically I got my tank here, and I think the reason I put it here, yeah, is like because I've got this here. So I'm able to secure my comm tower without fear of him bonking it with his tank at all. And then I'm also guarding my infantry up here. And the thing with Kindle is basically whoever gets to a city first is going to have a significant advantage. So you really don't want to... It's really bad basically to attack into cities when you're playing against Kindle. And that's even when you are Kindle, because you only get the firepower bonus when you're on the city. So unless you're able to... So basically, you need to be able to have a unit on the city at the end of the engagement in order for it to be worth it. Usually capping. You usually want an infantry capping or to be attacking from the city. This was an awful move on his part, by the way. Should never have done that. And then moving in like that with the infantry, I don't think that that was a really bad move. Because now he's starting a bit of a chain here on the city. And I'm getting a first strike advantage from the city as Kindle. That's never a good thing to start. So, and the reason why it's bad is because I have this tank in range. I have this second tank basically in range, but I can keep on chaining tanks up that way if I need to. So moving in, I forget to this is something that I think basically everyone who plays this stupid game does. But when you should always cap your comm towers before doing this. What's going to be a difference between that and that? So it's actually, did I actually do? No, I did. I did the full 7 damage, but there was a chance that I didn't. So really, let's be real. It didn't matter too much, but I could have maybe gotten an 8 damage off here if I hadn't, and then I just get it anyway. So like, come on. So moving in with my infantry, keeping up the tank chain up here because at this point, like, he's gonna have to fall back at this point. And then I go for the artillery for the corner up here because he's got the recon here. As long as I keep the infantry wall up relatively well, he's not gonna be able to break through. So I can pressure with the artillery fairly low, which you'll be able to see. Got another tank down here as well to keep up the chain and some infantry. So he falls back to his own city there, and then he goes like this into my tank. Which, because he had actually attacked
with his infantry there, he's not going to be able to secure the city. Which again, like I said, never do it like this. It's a bad idea. He's got another tank going on here. More infantry. But his tanks are wide open for my tanks to just come in here. So I can keep this tank chain going if I want to. Attack from the mountain here. And as you can see, it's not actually that crazy of a trade because of the Kindle firepower boost. So that's an interesting thing. As you can see here, I've got my little block up here. Excuse me. Moving in down here a little bit. This is actually fairly aggressive, I gotta say, but I'm able to take out the infantry that he had on the HQ, moving in with my infantry over here. I'm being super aggressive up here. I'm securing some of this stuff down here, although he's got infantry here, so he can interrupt if he wants. Build some more infantry, and I'm getting a medium tank down here. Now this medium tank is going to be super integral. What he would want is going to want to do is going to be to have his own medium tank so that he can, or maybe some artillery, so that he can, because we're having this engagement zone over here, so he's going to want to contest this engagement zone a little bit better for medium tank of his own down here, because otherwise he's just going to basically be allowing me to come in here for free. That here I get a little bit lucky. Well, I was at 7 health, so I've got to say, we can double check the luck on this. No, he's attacking. And he's gonna be, well, it should be doing around 2 to 3 damage. So he gets the lucky roll actually. And then he gets, oh, that's because the guy has, yeah, I don't think he's actually not able to kill there, which is very interesting. Unless maybe he got a very specific luck roll with the add-on damages. But that's actually really bad for him, because I've got my tank still. I'm able to move in with my medium tank now and start contesting this area because of all these tanks that he has. So that's going to be really bad for him. He's hypothetically going to be able to capture this next turn if he wants, although I have units in here to, oh, there's Urban Blight, so that bites a bit. I've got to say it. That wasn't, it's not very good. Look at that. Look at that. Not very fun down here. So that's part of the Urban Blight thing, is basically, well, when you're doing Kindle versus Kindle, it's a bit annoying. And it's not always whoever pops Urban Blight first wins. So for something like this, usually what I should have done was expect that he would be able to get the Urban Blight this turn and then act accordingly. This guy's not going to be able to average match at all from here. But he's moving to try and get in. It's never going to happen. Never going to happen, dude. So I popped the mine immediately. That gives me the firepower and defense. So now we're both up to 10-10. Well, actually, I'm 20-10 because I've got my extra comm tower here over him. Let's see. What did he build? He just built tanks. I don't like that very much. And the reason I don't like that very much is he knows for sure that I'm going to get this next turn. And he's just building tanks. Tanks are the worst thing to build as Kindle. When you know that your opponent's, well, against the Kindle, because tanks, it matters a lot. If the difference between 9 health attacking into a 10 health tank and 10 health attacking into a 10 health tank is massive. It's crazy. So let's just go 10. Let's assume you're attacking into a city. I guess let's do Andy, so just as an example, but 10 health into this. Say, let's give you a firepower boost. So that's 4 damage versus 9 damage. I mean, 10 health versus. So look at that. It's no longer going to necessarily, you're no longer confirmed to get 4 damage. And then if you pop it down here, it's even less likely that you're going to get 4 damage if you don't have the comm tower. So that's where the 9 health mat starts to add up a lot, and it's really, really difficult to push into your opponent's cities when you're playing against Kindle, especially if you have weakened tanks like that, especially recons. So units that you can build when you know that your opponent's going to when your opponent's going to pop for Urban Blight is infantry, because they're cheap. Now the capping thing is a bit annoying, but you're usually going to be able to go back to 10 on the way. Tanks you don't want to do. Medium tanks are fine if you're going to be pushing them against regular tanks, but if you're going to be going against medium tanks, it starts to matter a bit. Really, tanks and medium tanks are the 2 things that you really, really don't want. Oh, and mechs. You never want to build mechs when you know that Kindle's going to pop for power. And expensive units are also something that you might want to shy away from, because you're going to be, if you're a bit low on funds, because it's going to just drain your funds. It's just going to drain your funds if they go for that. So that's a short thing of what you want to do against Kindle powers. It just as a general thing, but so I go ahead and move in here with my tank, start capping here to make sure that he doesn't get the city bonus with his tanks. Well, tank. And I knock him off of his comm tower. And at this point, it's looking a bit scary for him, because I've got 2 infantry here. I'm basically ready to start capping the comm tower, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to be able to take it if I want it. He might be able to get enough power meters to stop me. Excuse me. But yeah, it's not looking good for him. And I'm moving in with my medium tank down here as well. So if he wants to move in with his tank army here, he's going to get punished heavily for that, because I've got this medium tank down here. So that's not good for him. I move in, take out his infantry around here, move on down onto the city. And take advantage of my firepower increase, fall back to the mountain, moving around there. Oh, I think I just joined Cap Fair. I don't know if I like that, but whatever. And here I'm just consolidating my tanks a little bit. I reload. So as you can see, this was what it looked like at the end of my turn. So let's see how Surfing Pekko responds to that. So he moves in like that, moves in like that. He's trying to get me off of this. I think this was a little bit aggressive maybe, because I've got nothing to really deal with a tank at this point. Where did that tank come from? It was here, yeah. So I should have probably had something to do with that here. And this is a little bit aggressive. This is basically always going to be his property. But as Kindle, I think it's maybe a little bit better to go aggressive on this, because then they have to deal with it and they're attacking into a firepower bonus. Of course, if they have vehicles, it's a bit harder for you to contest, because they can just move in like this and not take damage. But moving in like that, taking out this infantry, actually didn't take it out. Maybe a bit unlucky, but honestly, I'd say pretty unlucky. But he doesn't have a firepower bonus, and I have my power active, so there's that. And now you can see it's starting to add up a little bit more. And the defense is pretty good from the cities is pretty good, and the firepower is going to be amazing for the rest of this turn. So just attacking into these cities for, I'm not sure that there's much gain for him to be had here. If I were him, although he can't really go for both. If I were him, I would honestly go and attack both in the bottom one, because then he'd be able to, well actually no. I would just hold off then. Because look at how much damage he's taking for basically no, I guess this one I like a little bit more, because it's his property. So he's getting 2,000 value out of it rather than just the 1. But here I'm not sure about if it's worth it or not. He takes out my tank there, which is okay. But he's not going to be able to do too much there. Here, he's just going for it. Here, and he's moving up with his tanks and stuff. He's got the medium, he's got the artillery here, and the mech. Now, on this map, when you start mech spamming around these bridge areas, I'm not gonna say it's over, but in a situation like this where I'm basically guaranteed to cap this comm tower now, it's basically over. So I guess my gambit for the bottom left worked. Get this amazing firepower bonus here. Look at that. Able to switch it from and again, I got lucky on that roll, actually. Pretty lucky on that roll. But this shows just how crazy you can those firepower bonuses on cities. It's able to actually take that. Not reliably, but it's a possibility, and I would have been able to follow up if I wanted to. So that's just Kindle's crazy freaking firepower and properties. It's ridiculous. So basically, I think I just attacked with these two. No, I capped with this one. Then I'm gonna move in with infantry, consolidating over here because I know he's not gonna be able to do much over here. With that recon, falling back a little bit, getting this tank here, counteract the opponent's tank, moving in very aggressively actually. Excuse me. With a medium tank here, but it's good. It's a good move because he can't really respond to it. He's got tanks. That's it, just tanks. Now at this point, if I'm Kindle, I'm moving in my artillery here, guarding with either the mech or tanks. Probably the tanks. Probably guarding with the 10 health tank here. Because, well, no, I think I can take it with the 9 health tank. Because that way I'm cutting off the medium tank and then I'm maybe pushing into this a little bit. But at this point, you see this 20% extra firepower bonus, you're going to need to push into this really aggressively in order to have any chance of winning against this. You can't have this stay around for much longer than a turn or two. You need to be on that immediately if you want to have any chance of winning. So he's able to knock me off of this city, but it takes 3, I think that's 3 full health infantry. No, he's opening up with a 9. So that would be why maybe it's a bit harder for him. He can't move in with a tank, so I think this is probably the best move because he's making sure that he's limiting his damage to just that 1 infantry, which is good for him. And actually, yeah, he's going for that on the mech as well. The mech I think is a bit less reliable because I think I might be able to just bop it with my medium tank. Let's see. Yeah. It's a chance though. But next turn I'm gonna have my second comm tower, so that'll be guaranteed. And he's mech spamming a lot here, makes sense. He's actually going all the way in like that, which that's better. That's what I would like to see actually. That's a very good move at this point. Excuse me. But at this point, I think I'm like, okay, I got this cap. I can fall back now. So, moving in around, basically trying to centralize my forces a bit. Try to take some nice shots where I can. And making sure I'm out of range there, right? I'm blocking his tank with my infantry there, which is a cheeky little move. And I'm actually... That's interesting. It's very interesting that I'm staying on that city. We'll see how that plays out. Because he got the mech there. And it's actually not doing too much damage. Let's see what this is. It's actually not doing too much, which is kind of crazy, honestly. But he's gonna be able to move in with his tank as well. So he's going in for a Neo tank. At this point, that's a good move, I think, on his part. It's a fine move. But I would be expecting a Urban Blight at the end of a turn, I guess. But he didn't pop it. He didn't go for it, which is kind of weird, honestly. He could have hit 2 of my tanks. He would have interrupted this cap a little bit, which doesn't matter too much, and he would have weakened some of my infantry. He's got this guy, which he could have moved into, but I guess he's going to just save it. Honestly, as Kindle, it's kind of hard for me to justify saving your Urban Blight when you're playing this Kindle. And here, I think I see that Neo tank, and what I think I did was I just I went, you know what? Fuck it. I want my Urban Blight now, so I'm gonna suicide my tank into his Neo tank. Just go for it. YOLO Swaggins it, and take a big chunk off of that Neo tank. So now it's down to 6 health. It's not very good, I gotta say. I'm moving my artillery down to the bottom right. Honestly, you only really need 1 artillery in the corners. Any more than that, and then infantry. You want infantry and 1 artillery in the corners. Any more than that, it gets a bit hard to move around with. Yoink him off of that mountain, kick him off of there, move in. I mean, that's pretty aggressive, I gotta say, and do 5 health of damage here. I don't think there's any way that I could have killed. No. Well, actually, I think there is potentially a way that I could have killed if I had gotten a nice solid roll with my tank, but I didn't. I suicided tank earlier, but whatever. So moving in with my lighter units now, because at this point, this medium tank, I'm fully expecting this medium tank to go down next turn at this point. But I don't really need it anymore. It's done its job. It's done more than its job. It's taking out like taking out like a tank or so. It's kind of enough for me to be like, okay, that was a well-justified attack. So now I don't know why he's not popping the Urban Blight here. Maybe he's going for the super. You should never save up for Kindle super, really. This attack I would definitely want the Urban Blight for. If you're gonna attack into it like that. Moving in with that. He's actually going and kind of hiding his Neo tank up here. I don't know if I agree with that at all. It's a nice shot here, but it was at 8 health, so that's not very good. If he had popped the Urban Blight, again, would have been really nice, because you get that firepower bonus, but I guess he doesn't want it. Here, I'm not sure about attacking into here. I guess it's sort of okay, but whatever. And at this point, he's not really. I think he's just saving up so that maybe. I guess maybe he's hoping that he can survive another turn, and then he'll be able to get a really nice Urban Blight or maybe a High Society off when I don't have the defense boost up. But like at this point, the damage is going to be done. I'm going to be able to move in like crazy. I got the artillery here, threatening his Neo tank, so that's not good for him. Finally kick off that stupid recon. Move into here a bit. Get a nice shot off on his artillery. Start capping here. Start trading here a little bit. Boom. Moving in with all of these vehicles. Moving in with infantry and stuff. Look at how much damage his infantry did. Oh, it was just one. But like, look at that. Kindle on properties is so hard to get rid of. It would have been even crazier if he had his power up, but whatever. So I built another tank here, mainly because I need it. But I didn't buy anything else, because I'm like, surely he's going to pop his power at some point, right? But he doesn't. He just holds on to it. Don't know why. Don't know why he's holding onto it like this. Attacks into here for no gain. There we go. There we go. There we go. So pop High Society. I think that's after that got knocked off by that. Gets a really nice shot off there. Takes a shot there. Takes a shot there. Takes a shot there. And here you're seeing High Society's power actually come into useful a little bit, because although I'm not sure it really matters, but basically you got this, like this. It's doing an extra 2 health damage here, which isn't nothing. I must say, it's not nothing. It's actually a significant amount. So this is a pretty good turn for him. The issue is, because he didn't pop, look at that. Look at that damage as well. Like, this is an excellent engagement for him. Well, actually, it's not that good. He got a little bit lucky on that one. But this was an excellent engagement. He's got the medium tank here. He's hoping to push in a little bit, but at this point, I'm basically like, I've got my recon here. I'm gonna be able to hold down the fort here from anything you throw my way, as long as I damage your infantry even a little bit. But I've got my urban this next turn, so you know what I do? I go boop. Well, less health all over here. My medium tank's kind of done anyway, so this I'm like, you know what? Bye. I'm not sure when he actually took the damage on his medium tank. When did he do that? Oh, that would be why. He moved it onto... See, that's another thing. Never move your units onto your bases for repairs like that. If anything, you should have moved here. Or here. But instead, you moved like that. So I'm able to punish him for that. And he has... Well, actually, I don't think he had the income for it, but... Maybe he had the income for it. I'm able to knock off his... That's just so rude. He had my medium tank encircled, but I'm like, you know what? Nah, that's not happening today. So I'm able to move in here very aggressively, actually, still. At this point, look at the unit count, look at the value count. It's been over for a little while, but I'm able to move in on his freaking port, too. That's a minute and a half, but he's like, yep, never mind. That's a resignation there. So... that's Kindle versus Kindle. Things that are important is to basically secure the cities as soon as you can when you're playing against Kindle. And then get off of them with most of your normal land units when she's about to pop her normal power. Now, a good counter that you won't see on this map for Kindle's power is actually battlecopters. And the reason for that is, I think even a 7 health battlecopter, let's go... 7 health battlecopter on a city is going to be able to do a good amount against tanks, whereas a 7 health tank on a city isn't going to be nearly as survivable. So that's the main gist of what you're going to do. Now, of course, anti-air is a thing. Anti-air is always a thing, but yeah, that's that. I think bombers are sort of the same thing. Fighters are actually really good, I feel, against Kindle for blocking, even though they're super expensive, so you're never going to see them come out for just that. But you can block fairly reliably with fighters, because a 7 health fighter, I think, even is able to tank... Okay, maybe not an anti-air. Okay, forget what I said. Completely ignore what I said. That was completely wrong. That feels like a bit much, actually. Huh. Interesting. Maybe I need to review my fighter. Oh, maybe I'm thinking of Eagle fighters. Yeah, Eagle fighters can do this 10 days out of the week, I think. Maybe. No. Ego fighters can definitely not do that. Stern fighters probably can, though. Yeah, stern fighters can. Barely. But they can do it. So that's a bit of trivia against Kindle. Of course, Ego and Stern are both, what? Tier 2, then Tier 0 in Standard. Tier 1 in Fog for Stern. So you're never going to see them against Kindle usually, but... So I digress. I just digress completely for that for a little bit there. But yeah, this Kindle versus Kindle. Hope you were able to get a little bit out of that. Properties are really important as Kindle because of firepower bonus and urban blight. So you gotta know when to be on the cities and when to stay off of them. If that makes sense. Next week will be this, I'd say, 850, 860 level match. It's going to be a standard Global League Tier 4 match. So for those, I usually play Jake. Tier 4 standard. I like Jake and over Jess in standard for Tier 4. But that'll be on Shadows KC endlessly, and you will see that next week. You know what to do, like, subscribe, all that nonsense. And that's about it for this week. So come back next week if you want to see more of this. If you want to see me play Jank for once. Peace.